beautiful, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to this video where I'm gonna rank every single palette that I reviewed in 2020, which is a lot. I'll put the number right here because I honestly don't know how many. You can see them all behind me here. I put them in order. I hope. This has been a task. But I'm gonna rank them all from the worst release to the best release. And there are some palettes that I do know that other people have reviewed and tried and they have ranked that I actually haven't tried. Some of the memorable mentions is I haven't tried the Child palette by Colourpop yet, I haven't tried the Raw Beauty Christian Colourpop palette yet, and I also haven't tried the Tiny Marvels and Sydney Grace palette, the one with Mel Thompson yet. Those are the palettes that I know that a lot of people have ranked really high and I haven't tried them. So if you don't see them in this video, that is why. This was a long and winded intro, but let's get into this video. Please do subscribe if you want to see more makeup reviews, makeup content. I am a lover of fashion and makeup. My name is Angie. Hello. I don't know if you've been here. I'm off the beaten track today. I'm all over the place. I just know that this is going to be a beast to get through. So I'm just gonna dig in. Please don't forget to subscribe. I do upload several videos a week. We're all about color and just creating with color on this channel. So if you want to see some more makeup reviews, some more color, some more makeup palettes, this is definitely the place to be. Let's just start at the bottom and work our way to the top. Some of these palettes I am going to group together, some of them are going to be ranked individually. Most palettes are going to be ranked individually, and you'll probably be able to see that in the title that I'm ranking more than I have positions here, and it's because sometimes I group a couple of palettes together because I'm trying... Listen, I can't talk anymore. I know this is going to be a long video. At the absolute bottom position, who's surprised? This is the Color Me Cool by Morphe. Absolute trash. You don't need to buy this palette. Let's not linger on that one. I also, and the second to last, have the Morphe Khaki Whatever palette. Also, listen, Morphe is cheap, but the quality is awful. I compared this palette to cat litter. So, save your money. You don't need to buy that. I feel like I'm gonna get some hate mentioning this one at this lower position because I know a lot of people really like this, but I honestly think that this quality is less than subpar. Melt has done a lot of really good palettes this year. You're gonna see some of the Melt palettes from this year in the absolute top positions. I'm actually wearing two Melt palettes that I'm gonna mention in a while on my eyes today. Did film this for Instagram. I'm gonna have it live soon, but I will link in a pinned comment the things that I have on my face today. This 420 palette, this isn't a good palette. This quality isn't the normal good Melt quality. If you love this palette, that's absolutely awesome. I just don't think that this is good quality. It is hard to blend, hard to layer. It's a mess. It's patchy, it's a mess. Let me just mention all of these together because no one cares about Makeup Revolution. Me neither. These are workable, but subpar. Some of these are more expensive because of fancy packaging, but listen, these aren't good. These aren't good. They're not good releases. Subpar quality. There's nothing special about these. There are so many, and you're gonna see this in this ranking. These are from the Makeup Obsession line, which is also Makeup Revolution. All of this is Makeup Revolution. I don't think that Makeup Revolution has a good eyeshadow quality. This is from XX Revolution. I've tried all of these in videos, so it's Revolution Pro, Makeup Obsessions, and the XX Revolution. They're all Makeup Revolution. I don't think they're all subpar. There are so many good affordable eyeshadow formats out there. Makeup Revolution just does not have one of them. And that is my not so very humble opinion. I'm gonna talk about some other really good affordable palettes in this video. I don't jive with Makeup Revolution. I don't think that that is a good formula. Next, I'm gonna mention the Pixie by Petra Rosette Ray. I thought the pigmentation was pretty weak on this one. It's as they say, gently pigmented, and that some people like that. The main reason why this is this low is that first of all, it's very gently pigmented, and second of all, this fades. So for me, and I don't have problem with dry lids, oily lids, nothing like that, and I don't have problems with eyeshadows fading, but this one faded on me, and it's like, why would you then spend your money on something that's actually not that exciting when it comes to pigment to get something that's only gonna last a couple of hours on your eyes? So maybe this will jive better with you. I didn't have a problem really working with it other than it wasn't that pigmented, but I had a problem with this fading. I don't know what you think, but that is my opinion on it. I feel like I'm keeping good speed. Am I keeping good speed? I feel like I'm keeping okay speed. Naked Ultraviolet. First of all, I don't like the idea of this palette. Listen, I don't dislike the concept of this palette, but I don't like how they made the concept of a nude like violet palette and made it into these colors. Because there's nothing wrong with the concept, having a mix of neutrals and violets and doing them in a way that's not terrifying for people who's not into color. There's nothing wrong with that concept. A lot of other brands have done something similar. The execution though, there are a lot of shimmers here. There's only 2 mattes, and those are the really, really light ones here at the beginning. So if you like mattes, this isn't the palette for you. I don't like doing all shimmer looks, and I'll be honest, most of these shimmers are pretty lackluster. They're not that pigmented, they're not super shimmery or easy to work with, they're kind of crumbly. There's very few shades in this that is like, wow. It's just the color scheme and the execution of this palette feels very late 90s, early 2000s, and I don't feel like that is the revival anyone was looking for. This would have been popular 2001, but we're not in 2001, so I don't understand what made them think that this could be a good concept today. I don't think that this is executed well, and I don't think the quality of the execution is good either. That's that about that. And I feel the same about this one. This is the Wired palette by Urban Decay. I bought all of these things myself. Is that true? No, I got the Pixie palette in PR, but so far I bought all the other things myself. I bought this myself. This isn't horrible quality. Like, this is doable, this is workable, but there are so many good colorful eyeshadow formulas in the world, and I'm gonna show you, like, you're gonna see, there's a lot of palettes coming up. This isn't one of them. This isn't extraordinary, but the price is pretty high up there. So why would you pay this price tag for something that you can get it twice as good for half the money? I don't understand. I don't understand. This was not also the revival that anyone was asking for. I feel exactly the same about the Colored Rain Juicy Boost. There are so many good colorful formulas out there. This isn't that extraordinary. This isn't that good, but it is expensive. Colored Rain used to have one of my favorite colored formulas when it came to matte shadows. They reformulated, and now it's in the bottom. I don't like the new formula. I don't think it's that good. It's not really that buildable. It's not really that blendable. It's a bit tuggy. I'm not a fan. I'm gonna mention these two here, and this is mostly preference. These are I never do an, look at me like now. I never do an eyeshadow look, almost never, that is not has any kind of depth to it. And these two palettes, this is the Nude mini palette by Juvia's Place, and this is the Taupe mini palette by Juvia's Place. There is no depth, there's no dimension, but I have seen a lot of you actually commenting saying that these are your favorite palettes because this is the kind of everyday look that you go for. And I 1,000,000% respect and understand that, and I think that that is also why these palettes exist, because I mean, not everyone wants to look like a purple vampire, but it's not for me. It's just too light for me. I never go for looks like this, so these are only staying in my collection for like comparison purposes. I won't be reaching for those palettes. It's not the color scheme I go for. If these have had one or two like deep shades in them, we would have been singing a different tune right now. I'm gonna mention, you know what, I'll mention these at the same spot because these are in the lower spot for the exact same reason. This is not that amazing ColourPop formula that I know and love from like 2018-19. Some of the palettes that ColourPop has come up with this year have been not as good. ColourPop used to be amazing eyeshadows for an amazing price. Right now they're like, this is like, well, this is okay for an amazing price, but that's not what I want. I want that amazing quality that it used to have. This is the Coastal Coral. Metallics aren't really metallic, they're a bit crumbly, you have to work a little bit with them. It's not that smooth, creamy texture that the metallics used to have. The mattes, a lot of mattes right now are having glitter in them. They are a bit more dry, don't build as good, you have to pack them on a bit. They're a bit powdery and not as pigmented, a bit more sheer. Same with the Stone Cold Fox. Some of these metallics are super, like this one, Magnetic Moon, amazing. This Gneiss guy, super amazing, but then this like So Fine, and also some of these like other, like this one Mystery, they're that crumbly thing that you need to manipulate a bit to even get to work, and even then it's not that extraordinary on the eyes. Some of these mattes are incredible. A lot of these mattes are the same as this one. They're just okay. Bit drier, a bit more transparent, not as easy to blend. Something happened with the formula of some shadows for Colourpop this year, and I don't know what. And that is the reason why these are getting lower. There are some good Colourpop palettes that I've tried this year, and they're gonna come up in a bit. These two just weren't part of that crew. These are actually also Makeup Revolution. These are Makeup Obsessions, but these are their like food themed things. And a lot of people, oh no, these are the I Heart Revolution. I'm sorry. Mini Tasty Peach and Mini Tasty Avocado. These are nice. They're okay. If you're gonna buy something Makeup Revolution, I would recommend these like food themed things from I Heart Revolution, or I'm gonna mention a collab in a bit as well. They seem to do these food themed things from I Heart Revolution, and the collabs a little bit better than they do the other shadows. These mattes aren't the most incredible mattes I've ever worked with in my life. Some of these shimmers, they look really nice on the eyes, but they're a bit chunky and heavy. So if you like that, it depends. There's nothing like immediately wrong with this, but it's not by a long shot the best like orange, peach, and green shadows I've ever worked with in my life. But if you saw these and these were within your budget and you think these are cute, I don't think you'll be like super disappointed with them. I'm not just like blown away by the quality of them. They're okay. I did some looks with them and I like them. I didn't love them, but I like them. Here I'm gonna mention something that I'm just like, we're in the, there's nothing wrong with this, but like I'm not blown away. This wasn't that easy to work with. I used this Huda Kaki palette a couple of times, and I will say that some of the times I used it, I had no problem with it. Then one of the times I used it, it became a bit patchy. It's not as good as the Mini Obsessions, the nude series, one where she had the light, medium, and the deep. I have the medium one. That one is so good quality. This isn't as good quality as that. This is okay. And also for being named a khaki palette, I feel like it's, the browns are a little too warmy orange, and then there's two random pinks in here. So I feel like same here. If you got this palette, I don't think you'd be like super disappointed with it because you saw the color scheme when you bought it. I just feel like there could have been a lot more with this, and I don't think that this is the same quality as the medium Obsessions palette I have. Feel the same about this one. If you own this and if you have it, I don't think you'll be disappointed. This is the Chasing the Sun. It's one of the sleek palettes. I tried some sleek this year. I wanted to see if you were interested in seeing me reviewing sleek or not. I don't dislike this. I feel like the sleek formula is a really good formula from the drugstore. It's not one of the best formulas I know, but it's decent. I think that this is a quite an okay palette, and if you see this, especially if you see it on a deal, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's just not one of the palettes that I was like the most intrigued trying, and also the purple in this palette is a bit of a dud, so that just is what it is. Here is the Makeup Revolution item that I am ranking the highest. This is the Kittlets and Makeup Revolution collaboration. I did meet Kittlets, like the creator that calls herself Kittlets. I did meet her at an event. When was this? 2019? I met her in Manchester, I think. And she came up with this like little duo. It's one like cool tone neutrals and greens. And then it is more like a warm browns and a red and a pink. These are nice quality. These are probably the best quality that I have tried for Makeup Revolution. I didn't have any problem working with this. I thought that these were nice eyeshadows. I like the looks that I have done. I think these are pretty good, and I have heard before that people are saying that Makeup Revolution is the best when you are trying like the collabs that they're doing, and I'm gonna have to agree with that because this is the best thing that I have tried for Makeup Revolution when it comes like eyeshadow wise. Other than that, it's like, yeah. I'm not blown away, but at least with this, it's like nice quality. Like it's more like at least you're getting what you're paying for. Here comes a palette that I know a lot of people really hated. I think it's okay. This is not the atrocious formula according to me that the Melt 420 is, but it's also not that great formula that some other Melt palettes have. This is the Millennial Pinks. These mattes are not as pigmented as some other mattes that we know and love from Melt. These are a bit more powdery, a bit more, I don't want to say transparent, but not as pigmented. The metallics are definitely workable, but they're a little thicker. I do love the color scheme though, and I love how deep it goes. A palette that goes really deep will always have my heart, but it's not impeccable quality. It's decent. It's decent, but it's definitely if you're gonna buy a Melt palette, this is definitely not the one that I would recommend. But if you see this on an amazing steal and you don't mind working a little extra for your eyeshadow, maybe this could be for you, but it's like, it's not their best palette. Let's say it as it is. I'm gonna mention these two offer palettes that I tried this year here. This is the Glitch palette. This is their same formula as they have with their highlighters. Let me take this lid off. I don't really like this packaging, but there's nothing wrong with these eyeshadows. These are nice eyeshadows. They are a super smooth, I would say not a metallic, but like a high shine satin. Not like that subtle satin. It really has the shine of a more like a polyester satin. But they're a nice shine, but they're not that super metallic like molten metal, but they look nice on the eyes. I had no problems working with this. I think this is a great thing if you find again on like a deal, but I wouldn't run out and buy this. There are so many palettes that I feel are more interesting than this, and this is the one that's called the Signature palette, and this is the Galaxy one. Wait. This is the purple one. I know a lot of people really love this one. Personally, and this is just personal opinion, I think the two mattes are a little too sheer. Same as like with this one. You do need to pack it on a little bit. It doesn't like build that good on each other. But I did really love these two shadows, the shimmery shadows. And this is a really nice dark like satin purple. But personally, you know that I love when a darkest shadow, at least you offer a dark matte in a palette. So I definitely did not dislike this one. I've seen a lot of people really love this one. For me, it's like, it's okay, it's nice. I don't dislike it in any way, shape or form. Same here, if you find it on the deal, I don't think you'd be disappointed. Okay. I feel like this is controversial because this is something that I've seen a lot of people rank really high. So don't come for me. Don't come for me when I tell you that I'm putting the bite-sized palettes here, okay? Be nice to me. I know a lot of people are really blown away by this. They're like, oh my god, it's amazing quality at $3. Well, I didn't pay $3 for these. These are $10, around $10 each in Sweden. So for me, why would I buy these for $10 when I can just, instead of buying two of these mini ones, I can just buy a BH Cosmetics palette, which in my humble opinion has a better quality than this. I feel like the three that I have is the jalapeno one and the acai one and the, I think it's Carnival one. All three of these have one dud, which means that every quad has one shadow that I don't think is that well performing. So what is the point then? What is the point of these if you're getting a quad, one of them is bad, and you're paying $10 each for them in Sweden? That is just how I feel. They're nice. They're definitely nice. And if you can get them for $3, sure. But they're not $3 for me. And they're not high-end quality. I think the reason why a lot of people are raving about this is because $3 is so inexpensive and it's really nice quality for that price. Like, this is way better than Makeup Revolution, but I mean, in Europe, Makeup Revolution is more affordable than this, at least in some countries. So yeah, for me, it's fine. It's fine. It's nice. I don't hate them, but I'm not blown away like some other people are. I am gonna mention, this is the Nyqvist Cosmetics and Smoky Glow palette. I love Hannah. I think she's such an amazing human being. And this color scheme is to die for. I love a mix of neutrals and colors, and I feel like she really encapsulated this purpley, pink, and brown color scheme. The only reason why this isn't higher is because this isn't my preferred matte formula. It is that kind of a matte formula that I know a lot of people really love, like the Ace Beauty formula, that is very pigmented if you don't like want to build a lot of mattes on each other. They don't really build on each other. The first matte that you're gonna pick, that is gonna be your main color. So when you start like building different colors and you want to get gradients, usually they do turn out to be like one color. And I know some people really just enjoy packing on a matte in the crease and packing on a shimmer, and you will get an amazing look by this. These shimmers are so pretty, especially this Dofa. I think this is such a pretty shadow. I prefer mattes that build on each other and that you can really more differentiate between the different mattes. That is just my preferred method. But if you love the Ace Beauty formula, I think you're gonna love this as well. This is not a bad palette in any way, shape or form, and I love the color scheme of it. It's just not my absolute preferred formula to work with, and I've heard a lot of people say that this is their absolute favorite. So do check out, this is so important when it comes to eyeshadows overall. It comes to like down to preference, like how do you work with eyeshadows, how do you blend eyeshadows, are you a packer, are you the person that wants to use 18 different mattes, or are you okay with just using 2 mattes? Just different preferences, that's it. Okay, I need to get a new pile behind me. I'm making progress. Now I'm gonna mention my first BH Cosmetics palette, and this is the Trendy in Tokyo. I'm not 1,000,000% sure that this was actually released in 2020, but I think it was. I will say, out of the BH Cosmetics palettes that I've tried, this one has the least good formula. I love the color story. It's a nice rainbow palette. Some of these shades, first of all, the metallics are not metallics. These are more like satins, and some of the mattes are incredible quality, and some of them are a bit thinner and not as like high quality as some of the other BH Cosmetics that I am going to be mentioning throughout this entire video. Really been into BH Cosmetics this year. This isn't that great BH Cosmetics formula. This is okay, but it's not incredible. That's that on that. The next one I want to mention is the Essentials palette. This is the Stephanie Lang and Sigma collaboration. This is nice quality. I personally don't like when they put cheek products within eyeshadow colors, although I'm sure you could be able to use these as eyeshadows as well. But these are nice quality, but it's very, very basic, according to me. You have one red here though, and I did do a look with this when I did like a red and black, because if I'm gonna do something neutral, I want it to be like special. But the reason why I'm putting this lower, the quality is good. I don't like cheek products and eye products mixed. I don't think that that is ever, I'll be honest, a good idea. And I also think that this is very, very basic. I don't dislike neutral palettes. I just want them to have a little bit of a twist, and I don't think that there is a twist to this one. Next, I'm gonna mention these, like, I think it's a tie-dye collection by Colourpop. I bought all of these because I like colors and I like Colourpop, and this is first of all, I really like that they're starting doing some cardboard packaging, because this plastic packaging isn't it. These are all very light. I mean, you get what you see. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the quality of these. They're pastels. Pastels are always going to be a little lighter, usually because they're mixed with a lighter or white pigment to make them look like pastels. This is the green one. I like these. This is a Super Shock, the Soul Sister. It's actually really, really nice. All of these have 1 press glitter each. I will say that this is, and I've really been soul searching. This is the peachy pink one. Soul searching what I like and what I dislike about glitters this year. And what I like about glitters is when they are this like iridescent see-through glitter. That I like, or I want them to be in like a gel or something on the side. Because this like translucent, like the one that's like a translucent glitter, I use at times. But I know most people, including me, are tired of pressed glitters and palettes, and I really do hope that we get to see less of them. But if you were looking for some pastel palettes and you wanted to get one on the bargain, I don't think that these are bad pastels, but they are pastels indeed. So personally, that this was a bad release. I thought it was pretty good, but just don't think that you're gonna get something deeper than you are. Like, what you see is what you get. This is the Juvia's Place La Mariposa palette. This is a pretty new palette. This is a collaboration with Juvia's Place and Jamie Angelina. This is pretty much the exact same reason for these. I want something deeper. I don't think that there's anything wrong with the quality. There is one pressed glitter. I don't like pressed glitters, and this is not that see-through like iridescent shade. I like the quality of these shades. They're not necessarily shades that I personally match and mix together, but it's not my collaboration, so I'm not here to judge. I do love the quality of each of these shades though. I don't really love the glitter, but that's again personal preference. But I don't see myself using this as a standalone palette again, and that's pretty much the reason why I'm putting this a bit lower. Then I'm putting this one, and I did talk about this just recently. I don't know if you saw that in my like recent monthly rankings. I think the quality of this is really good. I prefer something that is a bit more high shine when it comes to shimmers. This is the Lavender Chinchilla palette from Sigil Inspired. Really nice palette. This is a Russian indie brand. Just not 100% in love with the shimmer formula. I think it's a little bit too subdued for my liking. But I like the quality of this one, and I will for sure be trying another palette from Sigil Inspired. If she releases something that's like a color scheme that I'm for, I have high hopes for this brand. Let me just put it like that. Next, I'm gonna mention this one. I've been roasting some Urban Decay palettes, but I did like the Stoned Vibes. I think that, so rude. I did think that this was a really nice palette. I don't like this one though, the Third Eye. It is I wanted this to be a matte, but it is a satin and on me that have it's a little bit of textured, more mature lids. It did end up looking a bit patchy, which is a shame, but I do think that there is something unique and fun and playful with this palette. Being a mainstream palette, I can see a lot of people really enjoying this and wearing this a lot because there is something fun about this palette. I did enjoy the quality. The only shade I didn't love is this Third Eye. I wish that that was a matte instead. This is a ColourPop palette that I think have better mattes, but not extremely impressive shimmers. They do have a Super Shock shadow in here, though, that's called Don't Leave. That's a really nice shade. I love a shadow like that. I didn't have any problems with these mattes. Both this purple and this brown, they're dark and pigmented. You can deepen up the look with either two of these. I love when a palette has at least one deep shade, but even better two. Love the packaging of it. There's nothing wrong with this palette. I think it's a nice palette. It is like smack in the middle of like, this is a decent palette. I will say though that the shimmer formula isn't that 2019 creamy shimmer formula from ColourPop. It is a bit more powdery. You either need to use your finger or a setting spray, but I don't dislike this palette. I thought it was really good. Okay, next pile. I'm gonna mention the quad that Juvia's Place did with Fumi. I think that this quad has one of the best matte blues I've ever tried in my life, and that is the reason why this is so high up. This is affordable, and I really like the metallic, like sea foamy color here as well, but I don't like the pressed glitters. If this hadn't been two pressed glitters, this would have been in top 10. That's how I feel about the other two shadows. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. This is the Side by Side by Nabla. This is a neutral palette, but this has a bit of a twist because this one has that like cool tone row at the bottom. So you can go really cool tone and smoky if you want to, or you can keep it at the more neutrally brown, or even that like rose gold magic moment. And some of these more clay red tones can bring it into a more warm tone. So this is a nice neutral palette. Takes you from warm to neutral to cool, and I feel like you have options. Is this a palette that I'm gonna reach for a lot? No, because I'm not that much into like straight up neutral looks, but I think it's nice quality. Not every shade is super like that nice Nabla matte blendable formula. Some of them took a little more effort to blend, but all in all, I think this is a nice palette, and if you wanted to try Nabla but you like more neutral colors, I don't think you'd be disappointed with this one. This is another neutral palette, and I like this one more. This is the Viseart Paris Edit. It looks like this. It is like a small neutral palette with a more pinky mauve tone. I like this palette a lot, and this is more cool tone mauve, and I love a small palette, and I really like this color scheme, and I like this color scheme mixed with more colorful shades. So I've been really enjoying. I love the format of Viseart palettes, like the small ones. I think they're really nice, and if you love cool tone pinky neutrals, you might like this one. I have two palettes from Gloss Gods here. This is the, let me put this away. This is the Incendio. This is a collaboration between Gloss Gods and Margareta Gräs. It's a very red, like red and some red, like warm neutrals mixed. This is nice quality. I think these are really nice. I think they did really good. And this is the Touch Me. This is Ida Schilleman and Gloss Gods collaboration. Swedish influencers, Swedish brands. These are really nice quality as well. Personally, I prefer more mattes than shimmers. This one has more shimmers than mattes, but both of them are nice quality, and I'm not sad I own them. I'm very grateful. These I did get sent as PR. I'm very grateful I got sent them as PR to be able to try the Gloss Gods formula if you're living in Sweden. Maybe Gloss Gods could be something that you can look into. Let's mention some Oden's Eye. I am so happy that Oden's Eye is getting some more recognition. Oden's Eye is a Swedish indie brand, and they made a really nice release this year with the Elva 2 series. This is the mini Sky palette. I'm putting all of the mini palettes here together. I love their shimmer formula so much. I think it's so interesting. The only reason why these mini palettes, because I love mini palettes, aren't higher up is because I wanted more mattes. Same here, but these shimmers are so nice. There are a couple of mattes though. I'm not gonna say there's no mattes. This one is so incredible. I did do a look for Instagram with this one, and I think I used this one in another look here on YouTube. But just really nice mini palette. Personally, I like mixing and matching these together with other palettes because I like dark mattes. Who's surprised? I feel like 2020 has been like the longest year ever, and some of these palettes when I was going through, I even forgot that they were like released. And I'm pretty sure that this was released this year. At least I reviewed it this year. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Tropic. This is like the last row from the Big Tropic palette. I like this. I thought this was good quality. I can make a look with only this palette if I want to, but I prefer to mix and match this with others. This is so small and tiny. This is perfect if you're going somewhere. Who's going anywhere? I don't know. But I'm hoping to get vaccinated soon so I can start going places. This is the perfect thing to mix and match with other things, especially like the VCR Paris Edit. This palette together with that one would be great travel companions. And I think that this is good quality and I like it. I think I have a video of, I have a video with everything that I'm talking about here. There's literally no exceptions. Everything that you see here in this video, I have made a video on, and I mentioned them at least twice on my channel. That's the honest truth. So if you're interested in seeing more about these, trust me, there's already up on my channel. This is a ColourPop palette that I really enjoy this one. I feel like this came out really early this year. Did you remember that this was released this year? This is the ColourPop Mint to Be. I mean, it's very monochromatic, but this is nice. I had a lot of fun with this. These minty shades in the middle, the shimmers, are so beautiful. Both of these are really nice on the eyes. I had no problems with this. I thought that this was a nice monochromatic palette from ColourPop. I think this is a nice palette. I think minty colors might be more of a hit this year than last year, so if this is still available, I would recommend it because I thought that that was a good palette. This is a nude palette that's ranking, I mean, fairly high. This is the Chocolates by Nyqvist, but look at this. It's so yummy, it's so dark. I love a dark eyeshadow palette. That's why this is so high. I love Nyqvist place. I love dark eyeshadow palettes, and even though this is a nude palette, it's really dark and yummy. This is something that I was a bit humming and hawing about this one. I think that this is a great eyeshadow palette if you like more dramatic looks. I had not as good luck with this one when I tried to make something more demure. When I tried to tone it down a little bit, just wear a little eyeshadow and some mascara, and I was running some errands. It did end up being a bit patchy. It didn't really look that good. So this palette looks the best when you really go for it. But if you really go for it, it's really nice. Did have some problems with creasing with the shimmers though, but I did get some tips from you on how to avoid it, but it's a nice palette. I like it. The color scheme is beautiful and also the price point is amazing. It's really amazing. It's so affordable. It's just not my absolute favorite because I had to finicky it a little bit. Here comes the Wahala number 1. You'll see the Wahala number 2 in quite some time. This is from Juvia's Place. This is the Wahala number 1. Some of these shades are so amazing. There are 3 press glitters in here though. Don't want more press glitters, please. And it's a shame because it's taking focus from the amazingness that this palette actually is. This would have been higher ranked had it not been for the press glitters. I will say though that there's only 1 deep color in here. Although this one is pretty deep, but this is the only like really deep color. I mean, maybe you can count this one as a deep, but these are so nice. These greens are so beautiful, and this is a multi-chrome. This is a blue, this is a green to a blue to a purple. So if you wanted to try some multi-chromes from the drugstore or from like affordable, you can buy this at Ulta as well. This is just a really nice, this is a duochrome. This is a nice palette. I don't love it as much as I love the Wahala 2 though. That one has even more deep options, but I do really like this one. I wish we could skip the press glitters though. This is the Spritz edit, the VCR Spritz edit. This also came out this year. I was on a VCR rush this year. VCR was one of the brands I wanted to try in 2020, and I did try VCR. I like this one. I really like this one, and I like this dark red. It's a really nice pop. I think that this is a nice mix of like colors and neutrals. Same here. It's a nice mixing palette with others as well, and you can make a really poppy red coral look with this that's not neutral. This is the Nabla Cutie palette in Metropolis. They did come up with 3 cutie palettes this year. This is the one of the 3 that I like the least. The 2 others are coming in quite some time. Did like this though, but I wasn't as inspired by this color scheme as the others. This is a duochrome, like an iridescent, like a purple shift, but it's not as like seen as I wish it would be with this kind of iridescent. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm not as inspired by this one as I am by some of the other things. Oden's Eye 11-2. This is the big palette that they came out with. Again, the Swedish indie brand. This also has 2 press glitters. Again, I don't want press glitters. At least one of them is that like, this is more of that see-through iridescent. That is more like you can layer it on top and the eyeshadow underneath will be seen. That is nice, but I don't want press glitters. I love this color scheme though, with the green and the blue row. I made some really good looks with this. There is also this deep brown here that you can deepen it up with. This deep sea, the dark blue, it is a metallic. Personally, I of course would have loved if this had a dark blue. That would have made this palette even nicer. But I love the options. I love the looks that I made with this. I think it's a playful and fun palette. That's how I feel. I feel like this palette has, some people really love it, some people don't like it at all. This is the Pure and Raw Beauty Christie palette. I like this. I thought that this was nice. I feel like this may have been a palette where a lot of people tried really pigmented, matte, colorful shadows for the first time, because it's like a rainbow palette on one side, and then it's like a neutral palette on the other side. I will be honest, I haven't played that much with the neutral side, but I have played quite a lot with this side. I thought this was a nice palette. I liked it. It is a rainbow palette and it's almost all matte. I do like some more shimmers. If this had been maybe not as like a typical rainbow, I probably would have ranked this even higher, but I like this palette. I thought it was a good release. Still haven't tried the other Raw Beauty Christie palette, but it is heading my way and I cannot wait to try it. This is the Lethal Cosmetics. What was this called? Oh yeah, this one. I've already disassembled this one. But I did rank it. Every month on my channel I rank all the things that I hauled the month before, and I did rank this one. This is the, what is it called? There was that 90s inspired palette. It didn't look like this. I will put a picture of how it actually looked. You can buy it pre-assembled, and you can also buy it as singles, and then you can pull them out and rearrange them, which I did in another video. But this was a really nice release. If you like poppy fun colors, 90s inspired, almost some of them are almost neon-y, fun release, and Lethal Cosmetics makes really good eyeshadows. I just don't have mine assembled correctly still. Oopsie. I need to speed up. Next one I'm going to mention is the Mini Retro by Natasha Denona. I actually like this mini palette even more, and this stems back to me really liking things when they're neutral. I like them being big, and this isn't that neutral. It's 2 khaki greens and then it's 3 pinks. This quality is even better than the Mini Tropic. This is really nice quality. I did enjoy this one, and I love mixing and matching this one with other ones. I thought this was really good quality. This is a newer palette to me. Take this with a little bit of grain of salt, because grammar, I don't know. This is the Viseart Attendu Violet. I haven't owned this for so long, and I've only used it twice. Will say though that these 2 matte purples, and even this one, the matte purples in this one is incredible. So good quality. So I had to rank this a bit higher, because getting these pigmented, blendable, wonderful purples, it's not that usual. So I will say that I really do enjoy this palette for what it is. I do have a look up with this on my YouTube. I think it is a really nice palette. If these are the colors that you kind of like, I don't think you'd be disappointed. This is the most fun Viseart palette that I tried this year, because this one has even more colors, and the purples blew me away. I thought that the quality of these purples were amazing. This is the most fun palette that I am going to be ranking, because I was sure that this palette was released in 2019, and that only shows how long this year has been. This year has been long. One of my pet peeves when it comes to yearly favorites is that people tend to forget what happened in the beginning of the year. That's why I try to rank every month, so that I can check back and not forget things, because I mean, we do get favorites in the beginning of the year as well, but then when it comes to yearly favorites, a lot of YouTubers seems to forget what they loved in the beginning of the year, and they only talk about what they love right now. This one was released for Valentine's year this year, and this is the All That palette by Colourpop. This is a really nice palette. This one has 2 pressed glitters, although this one is more like a red metallic with some glitter particles in. It's not like a straight up pressed glitter. This is a really, really good quality palette. These 2 matte cool tone reds are incredible quality. If you were looking for a cool toned cool toned red palette with some lighter pinky beiges to go with it. I don't think you'll be disappointed with this palette. I really like the quality of this palette. I feel like this got forgotten because so many other things happened in the beginning of the year, but this was the Valentine's release from Colourpop this year, and this is a nice palette. It's still available. It's called All That. I got it in PR. I had no intention in buying it, but I got it in PR, and once I tried it, I was like, you know what? This is a nice palette. There's nothing wrong with that palette. It's really nice, especially if you're looking for some affordable, cool toned red mattes. I do think it's really nice. This is the El Barrio palette by Terra Moon. This one I also got as PR. This is such a pretty palette. These shadows are really, really nice quality. You have this dark Por la Noche, which is a really, really nice color that actually blends really good into both this blue here and this red if you want to deepen it up. The metallics are so smooth and pigmented, and Terra Moon is a woman-owned indie brand, so if you wanted to support a smaller brand, this could definitely be it. Terra Moon makes really, really nice eyeshadows, and yeah, I'm so happy I own this one. I was gonna say, I have a video on this one. I have a video on all of these things. The end. This is the Mimosa palette by BH Cosmetics. I really enjoy the quality of this. The quality is so good on this one. The only thing that makes me from putting this in top 10, to be honest, is that there is no deepening up shades in this one. It's all very light and mid-tone, and I like something that's a bit darker. Even just a dark burgundy in this one would have helped this palette a lot. But if you don't like dark shades, and if you like pinky, red, yellowy, warm tones like this, because these shimmers are incredible as well, you might really enjoy that. Next, I'm gonna mention these are the holiday palettes from Juvia's Place. I really enjoy these. I thought that these, I still think that these have such great quality. Again, a pressed glitter. These would have been even higher if they didn't have that pressed glitter, but these, like, the looks I made with these, I loved them. They were so nice. 2 metallics, 3 mattes, and then a glitter. And then if you love yellow and orange eyeshadow like me, this is such a cool palette. I think I like this one a bit more because this one goes a bit deeper. This also has 1 pressed glitter, but these are so nice. And this like green gold duochrome. These are nice eyeshadows, really pigmented, really fun. Unfortunately, this doesn't go that deep, but they're very affordable. I just wish that there weren't any... Can we not have pressed glitters? Is this... Oh my, oh my. Okay, I'm gonna mention one more Juvia's Place mini here. We're getting towards the end. Oh, I cannot wait to talk about the top with you. This is the Violets. Really, really pretty eyeshadow palette. It's 2 mattes and 4 shimmers. These shimmers are so pretty. These mattes are really nice. I will say, if you want this one to be true to pan, I would start with this one on a primer that you haven't set. Then you will get this super deep darkness. If you want something that's not as deep and dark as this one, start with the purple and then blend in a bit of the darkness. I really like that the shimmers are more of a different tone. You have a warm tone, a cool tone, and more like a mauvey purpley one, and then this lavender one. This is a really nice palette. If you wanted to add some purple into your collection and you don't want to spend a lot of money, well, either one of these, to be honest, would be a really good choice. Next pile. Okay, I accidentally corrupted the file, or like the camera did, where the next palette was gonna be, but it is the Natasha Denona Triochrome palette. This is where we're at right now. I accidentally had a corrupted file. I've never had that before, but this is the first one where I had a corrupted file, but the next one is the Natasha Denona Triochrome. I really like this palette for what it is. I mean, this palette is an almost all matte palette with a couple of triochrome, what she calls triochrome shades, but are multichromes in the middle: Scarab, Kinetic, and Color Flip. These are more subtle triochromes. They're more like sheeny satins than that super reflective that you see from Cleona. But I like the mattes. I like them a lot. The only thing that I wish that could make these mattes better is if this scrap wasn't the only dark shade. I wish that this one was a little darker, or maybe one of these shades were like a darker shade. But that's just personal preference. I do like this palette for what it is, but it's not a super high shine reflective multichrome. But I do love the Natasha Denona mattes. I just don't love this palette as much as I love the other one. What's it called? The Metropolis palette. the one from last year. The second palette in that file that was corrupted is the Lethal Cosmetics Velvet Dusk. This is the palette that they came out with at the end of the year, and this is a beautiful, dark, grungy color scheme. I like this one even more than I like the Natasha Denona Triochrome, because this one has two really dark matte shadows, and this one is quite dark as well, as dark as the manganese one in the Natasha Denona Triochrome. And this one is, I mean, this one has some grungy alternative, dark ones, light ones, poppy ones. Like this one's so fun. The only thing that would have made this palette even more at the top is if these two shades that are marketed as multichromes actually were multichromes. I think they're more of a in the duochrome department than in the multichrome department, but there's still good shades. It's a good palette. I really, really enjoy this, and I think that this could be a really good choice if you wanted to try Lethal Cosmetics and you haven't yet, because you have a good selection of neutrals, colors, grunges, mattes, metallics. It's just a really nice palette. Okay, let's get back to past Angie and the non-corrupted files. Now we're getting into this big palette. I know a lot of people said that this was their favorite palette of the year. I'm putting it here. It's very big. It's too big for my liking. It's just so big. I do appreciate though that we have again a matte black. There is a couple of really dark mattes here that you can like do. You can do pretty much almost whatever with this palette. There is not a lot of shimmers though. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 shimmers in this palette that has like 200 shades. Like the quality a lot. It's just too big. I just wish that it would have been a bit more edited, but I love the quality though. The only reason why this isn't higher is because, I mean, it's not really a color scheme. There's just every color, and I like a little bit more creativity than that, but I do think it's a really nice palette. This one though is so small and nice, and I have loved this so much. I think this is such a nice palette. This is something that I reviewed very early in the year, and this is the Kiko Milano Tuscan Sunshine palette. Look at this unexpected palette, but I love it. I think it's such a nice palette. I love this whole collection. This sienna is such a beautiful dark plum. These shimmers are just so pretty on the eyes. I enjoy everything about this. I think it's so nice. Next is this is the Futurism, I think it's 6 and 7, right? Yeah, this is by Kaleidos. This is the Lunar Lavender. It looks like this. It's like a plum and purple. This was their take on pastels and neutrals because they had so many like really colorful palettes. So they did these palettes to be like more neutral and like more demure colors. And this is the more neutral one. It has 2 browns and a more salmon and a like light mustard, maybe vanilla, and then 2 like really duochrome shimmery shadows. I love Kaleidos quality. I think they have the most impeccable quality, and I'm just so excited for the future for all the things that they are going to bring out. This is one of my newer palettes. This is the Beetlejuice Recently Deceased palette. I really, let me take this. I'm trying to save this because I think it's so cool. I love the packaging, I love the theme, I love the quality. This one, the only reason why this isn't higher is because here's the thing. I feel like they have done things like this before. I feel like some of these shades are too similar to what they have done before. And I personally, I like the idea of the purple and green. It really goes with the theme of the movie. I think it's amazing. I just wish that, like, I wish that this was matte and we had another, like, I just wish something else. I personally do not think that these shades are extremely similar. The only ones that are really similar are these 2 purple here. I'm actually wearing these purple on my eyes today. This is one of the palettes I'm wearing on my eyes today. I think that these 2 purples are a bit too similar. I just feel like I wish that this have had the same amount of shades as the other palette and that they have thrown in a really light inner corner highlight, maybe like a purple iridescent duochrome and a really deep green matte. That is my personal opinion, but I love the quality of that one. It is a nice melt quality. Who thought a neutral palette would rank this high? This is the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse. I've been really into Lunar Beauty lately. I think that they make really nice things. First time I tried this, I was like, I don't know, but you know what? I really do like this palette. I really like how murky and deep and mystical it can go. I love this silver and the cool tones. I really like these 2 blues together. I love that there is a black here. Even though it has some sparkle, I still can use it in my crease. I don't mind. I love that there's a pop of cool tone. This is definitely a neutral palette with a twist, and I enjoy this a lot. I enjoy Manny's brand a lot. I feel like I want to get the Strawberry Moon, like the old palette. I feel like I want to get that. Should I get that? I feel like I want to get that old palette. Let me know if you think I should get that. This is such a good palette. This is a quad. This is the Melissa and Juvia's Place quad. Incredible quality. This matte is so good. Again, a pressed glitter. Had this not had a pressed glitter, this would have been in the absolute top. Think this is so beautiful. Why is there a pressed glitter? I wish it didn't have that, but still, it's only $10 and it's definitely worth that. Just dig out the pressed glitter, and the other 3 shades are so nice. I love them. Here is the other Melt and Beetlejuice palette. This is the Waiting Room. This is also one of the palettes I'm wearing today. I'm wearing the grays and the black, and then I'm having the purples. I like this palette a lot. I think it's really nice. Both of these Melt Waiting Room palettes, I've only used them 3 times each. I don't think that maybe that is enough to make a review, to be honest, but I think that these are really nice. I don't think that these 2 grays are similar at all. I also don't think that these red are similar. They're enough to give a good gradient. I think this was a really good melt palette. Not my favorite melt palette of the year though, but I think that this is really nice quality, and I really enjoy the mix of the reds and the gray cool tones. I think that that is really good. Next palette is my favorite palette from Sigma this year, and that is the Untamed palette. This is such a nice grungy rainbow. Can this plastic just leave? It's such a nice grungy rainbow. Sigma eyeshadow quality is really, really nice, and I really enjoy this palette. It has a black, it has a bone colored matte, and then just a bunch of really fun, colorful shades, but grungy and muted. I think this is the only like actual Christmas themed makeup I've ever bought. This is the BH Cosmetics Naughty palette. This was the one of the holiday palettes for this year, the one with the square pants. BH Cosmetics has been impressing me so much this year. This would have been even higher if this had been slightly more condensed, you know, edit yourself. And also this one has 2 pressed glitters. They're more finely milled and a bit easier to work with, but still not the biggest fan of pressed glitters. But this like color scheme is beautiful. These reds are so pigmented. You have like a duochrome over here. All in all, really good quality, solid quality. Just a couple of minor things that could have made it even more perfect for me. Ooh, this is such a fun palette. I know a lot of people have mentioned this as one of their favorite palettes of the year. This is the Glamlight Ice Cream Dream palette. Again, slightly too big for my liking. I don't mind a palette that has more shades, but this is just some too many. Do love though that this palette goes a bit deep. There is some neutral options and all these fun pastels. I do love a pastel look from time to time. If I'm gonna do an all light look, it's usually something more pastel-y like this. This is nice quality. Really nice quality. Had a lot of fun working with this. Solid release from Glamlight. Cannot wait to see what they are gonna do in the next year. Super excited. Let me mention the other 3 mini palettes from Juvia's Place. These are my 3 favorite mini palettes. I will say my absolute favorite is the Berries. Look at this. So pretty. Deep, dark, burgundy red, and then there's more reddish in the plot. Love this. And then we have the pink. I adore this. These 2 together, so pretty. These 2 shimmers are the most impressive pink shimmers ever. I love them. And then we have the mauves. This one is maybe the most like versatile because it has like pinks and mauves, and then this duochrome that is like pink base with like a green shimmer shift. Super pretty. Love all 3 of these. My favorite so far. Still hoping for a green one in 2021. And then come the Wahala 2. I was blown away by how much I love this. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect to love this as much. I think it's the busy background. The busy background makes me go, ooh. I wish that Juvia's Place would not do so busy backgrounds because the colors that they choose are so amazing. We don't need that busy background. Another one of the multichromes, this one is the green to gold to purple. Do have some pressed glitters in here as well. Same here. I wish we didn't have any pressed glitters at all. But there is a dark blue, a dark teal, and a dark plummy like brown. Some options to deepen up your look. Shimmers, metallics, mattes, duochromes, and multichrome. So many things to choose from, and I loved each and every look that I did with this palette. This palette surprised me. One of the most, well, not the most, but one of the most surprising palettes this year. I have been enjoying this so much. I think it's so pretty. BH Cosmetics. This was truly the year of surprises when it comes to BH Cosmetics. This is the Avocado Toast, neutral and green. If you wanted to try some greens but don't want to commit to super all bright green palette, here you have some options. I really like working with this. You can make a bright green, you can make a neutral, you have some olives, and then you have these more neutral shimmers here. Even the yellow one if you want to take it into that warm green territory. And I love that there is a black. I love when a palette has a black. I know that not everybody loves that, but I love working with matte black, so that is a plus in my book, because then if you don't have enough deep mattes in a palette, at least you can create them yourself with a matte black. Okay, the last pile. I have it here on the floor. This is the last one. Are you prepared? Do you know what's coming? Some of you are already probably leaning over your keyboard like, we know what's coming. I'm so excited. Okay, this is, according to me, the best melt palette, ooh, upside down, that was released this year. This is the She's in Parties. I think this is an amazing palette. Plummy, beautiful, pigmented. I adore this. I think it's so good. They did one of their stacks into a palette, and apparently now they're doing the blueprint stack into a palette as well, and I'm so excited. I think that this is a really good palette. If you were wanting to try melt, I definitely recommend this one. This is a good way to start because this is the good melt quality. If you buy this palette, you will immediately know whether or not melt is for you because this is great quality, according to me. I think that this is great quality. I'm so happy I bought it. These palettes created quite a craze this year. This is the Sweet Shop palettes. I have 3 of them. I'm gonna rank all 3 of them in the same space because I feel like they have similar quality. This is the blue one, the bubblegum, then is the one that everyone wanted to get, the pistachio one, which is the green one. And then we have my personal favorite, which is the cherry on top. This is the red and like coral one. This is so good. This is so good. This dark red here, it's so good. I love this this is so good. I adore it. I think it's so good. I didn't buy the other ones because I was like, I don't need them, but I've heard that all of them are good. So I'm so impressed. And these were the reasons that I started buying BH Cosmetics, because I was like, wait, what happened here? Okay, I'm gonna mention a palette now that I think most of you have forgotten about. Who remembers the ABH Amrisi palette? You didn't think I was gonna mention this, did you? Can you believe that this was released in 2020? I feel like everyone forgot about this, but this was a really good quality palette. This is like a neutral palette with a pop of blue done right. I adore this palette. This palette also has 2 press glitters. I don't like those. I wish that they would have just left them out. I will say though, I have not seen ABH do any more press glitters since then. I kind of hope they won't because we didn't need that. We don't need that. But the shadows are so good, so pigmented, so easy to work with. Getting stuck in the palette. Love the quality of this. I had so much fun with this. I bet you didn't think that I was gonna mention this, did you? I think this is a really good palette, and I think a lot of people forgot about it. We are into top 5. We are into top 5, and this whole filming this video has been a mess. I had a list of all the palettes in the order, and then I didn't film it in order, so some of these things you might be seeing it's darker, and then it's lighter, and then it's darker again. This whole thing has been a mess, so if you appreciate that I spent my entire day filming this and it's all been a mess, please do give me a thumbs up. Let's get into the top 5. I'm gonna put these 2 together because I think they're equally good but for different reasons. These are the 2 cutie palettes from Nabla, not the Metropolis one, the one I already mentioned, Metropolitan. The other 2. This is the cutie palette in Wild Berry. I love this so much. I think this is such a nice palette. It goes deep and you can go either bright or more like demure and like brick toned, or you can use this one. It's Incense. This is called a latex shade. It is like a cream to a powder kind of a shade, and then you have this topper duochrome that's alchemy, like this periwinkle purple thing, and then a bucolic baby, lovely pink metallic. I love this. It's top 5, so what do you expect? And my favorite neutral palette of all time. This is, if I can only keep one neutral palette, I'd keep this one. If I could keep another one, I'll keep the Lunar Beauty one. But I really love this one. This is so good. I love it. If you want to try cool tone neutrals and you just want to get a small tiny palette, I 1,000,000% recommend this one. I think it's so good. Number 4, Natasha Denona Love. I love this palette. Pun intended, but this is such a good palette. This came out for Valentine's last year, and like I said, sometimes people forget the palettes that came out early this year, but I have seen a lot of people mention this one, so maybe this one made enough like of an impression on people so that they actually do remember it. I adore this palette. I love the color scheme, I love the packaging, I love the formula, I love the looks that I made with this. It inspires me. I think that this is a great palette, and I'm so happy I have it in my collection. Top 3. Do you remember who I haven't mentioned? Do you remember? Because I already ranked all of these things. I just took my monthly rankings and I just put them all into one. This is the first palette that I bought in 2020. I don't know if people remember that this was released in 2020. I bought this on January 4th. On January 4th, I bought the Glamlight Cake palette. This is bright and fun, such a fun, like this is the like the rainbow palette that I need. I love this quality even more than I like the what is it called, the big one, the Be Perfect one. I know that some people love the Be Perfect more, but I personally love this one even more. I think the mattes just have such substance to them. I love the shimmers from Glamlight. I think they're amazing. They're like a cream, like a putty to powder. They do not crease on me. This is such a beautiful rainbow palette. This is my rainbow palette of choice. I had so much fun with this. I was surprised that I bought it because usually I do not tend to buy rainbow palettes, but I'm so happy I did because it ended up being my favorite. I love this one. I think it's so nice. It's top 3. I think this is so good. 2 palettes left. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised that this one isn't number 1, but hear me out. This is the Kaleidos Escape Pod. I love this palette. This is such a nice, like, sturdy, like, palette that's like a box. It's not like incredibly big. It's not that much bigger than a Natasha Denona palette. It's a little bit thicker, but honestly, it's just a little bit thicker than the Anastasia palette. I do prefer a slimmer packaging, but it feels very sturdy. And it opens up and it's just this beautiful, bright, fun color story. And the shimmers from Kaleidos are just amazing. The mattes from Kaleidos are amazing. The only reason why this isn't number 1 is that it's only one deep color. There's only one deep color, but I still love this palette. I wore this palette to my wedding. I think it's such a fun color story. I love the shimmers. I love the quality. I love how these look on the eyes. I love working with these. There's a couple of neutral options in here as well. And usually that is what Kaleidos does. They put in some neutral options so that you can bring the look down or spruce it up if you want to. And I adore the quality of this one. I think it's so nice. This is such a nice palette. So no one is surprised then. But I am gonna say that the Blueberry Muffin is the best palette of 2020. Listen, hear me out. Let go of the keyboard. Nothing surprised me more than this palette in 2020. And the reason why this one, I mean, I do love the quality of the Kaleidos quality over the BH Cosmetics. I'm gonna be 1,000,000% honest with you, but this one goes deep. This one has more deep options, and I was so impressed with this quality. I feel like BH Cosmetics is coming for Colourpop's crown. 2021 is going to be an interesting year to see if they can keep this up or if this was a fluke. If the releases in 2020 was a fluke or if they can keep it up. Because I love this palette. I know so many of you have bought this out of my recommendation, and I will say, if this is a color story, the neutral, this is a very plummy undertone, and then you have some cool tones and the blues and all of these shimmers. If this is a color story that you think that you could get on board with, I normally don't tell you how to spend your money, but I will say, what can I say? Like top 10, I do say, if you like those color stories and if you have the funds, I would recommend them for you because these are solid palettes that I 1,000,000% recommend. And I will say there weren't that many duds in 2020. There was some literally like standout palettes that I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I have these in my collection. There weren't that many duds. There were a couple there in the beginning, but I didn't try that many palettes that I was like, what is this trash? And hopefully that will be like a sign for 2021 that brands are gonna stop releasing mediocre makeup because there's too much to choose from. We don't need mediocre makeup. Do not forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to like. It's literally dark behind me. I need a late lunch. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry that this took so long. I hope you brought a snack, a friend, a blanket, and I will see you in my next video. And hold on to your panties. You do not want to miss my next video. Trust me on this one.